Hey, what's up? It's Tati, and I feel so compelled to talk about Dark Side of the Ring. I'm a huge fan of the show. I've seen probably most of the episode at least twice, and like it was filled with joy to find out there was going to be a season three. So I just watched the season three premiere episode, which features Brian Pillman, and it's a two-part episode. And it was a great way to start this season. Honestly, I mean, they do it in a way where they make the wrestler just a regular person, and it's like there's no biasness with how they tell it because they know most people who are watching it are fans of Pillman. I mean, Pillman has really impact how wrestling is seen, especially from a viewer standpoint. Like, there's been many times, especially that situation with him and Austin when he had the gun. It was like, okay, should I turn on the news to find out what happened after it went off air? And I remember that so specifically, like having to go to bed early, and then I'm waiting to hear from like my aunt or my grandma if it was in the news last night about what happened. Watching it back, versus when I was a kid, I had no idea that it was perceived so negatively because people enjoyed it. Anyone I knew enjoyed it. So, watching it back earlier, I was like, wow, it was that negative. I do remember Vince apologizing for it, but once the networks and everything are involved and you're doing something on live TV that they don't agree with, obviously they're going to apologize. So I had no idea it was just perceived so badly because, excuse me, as a child, I thought that shit was real. Like, it seems so real. So many segments on the show seem so real. And that's what they meant with breaking that fourth wall. Like, especially with someone like Pillman, how they were saying, like, even other wrestlers and people in the business just had no idea when he was going to turn that character off, or even if that's even a character anymore. It was just him now. And as a character, I would honestly say I enjoyed it, and a lot of people enjoyed it. It was pretty cool to see Austin on the show. Like, he's somebody who you really wanted to hear their feedback. And that's something that Dark Side of the Ring has been lacking, is unfortunately not getting everyone they could possibly get for whatever topic of the episode, because obviously some people have a close relationship with WWE, and it's hard to discuss something that they probably wouldn't want you to discuss, but that person has like viable information to really get the story out. And it was great to see Austin on. Like, I couldn't imagine him not being on it. It just wouldn't have been the same as how it turned out last night. Now, honestly, what really got me from this episode was two things. Like, sometimes you don't separate the wrestler from the actual person. To see him to be an actual family man to an extent, because obviously the ladies was, a thing for Pillman. Like, he was a really good looking guy and can probably snatch anybody up that he wanted to. And that become an issue with, the relationships, having three women as the mother of your children. Like, that's kind of crazy. But he was there for them, and even for Melanie's children that weren't even his, he was there for them as well. So I can respect that. Like he stepped up, although he did make mistake financially towards the end, where money could have been going to his children instead of, materialistic things, especially that Hummer that caused, well, I'm not going to say the Hummer caused him to have an accident. He did. And I think they said like $80,000. That's a lot of money for anybody to spend on one little thing, such as a car. You could have gotten something way less than half of that. And hey, his money, he spent it how he wanted to spend it. And unfortunately, that didn't go, that didn't stretch long. So, another thing that really got me was I didn't realize about the interview with Melanie after Pillman died, like how soon that was. I know a lot of people will be like, the hell with Melanie, like she's a piece of shit. And honestly, you see it more with this episode, like how shitty she actually is. Especially when it came to the children, when it came to Brittany's mom. Oh my god, that part really got me like heated because I was like, how? How could a woman feel like she had to be involved with another woman's child that way? And ultimately led to her mother's death. Like, damn, that was just so messed up. Like, I could see how that would affect Pillman. They shared a child together. You would expect, you know, petty shit between parents when they split and they have a child. Most often, they're not so cordial about things. But for Melanie to just get involved in such a nasty way, it's crazy. And that last thing she told her, which is probably what really put the nail in the coffin, and she was like, you know what? I can't have my pride and joy in my life. Then to hell with it. And she just, yeah. I mean, that was pretty hard to watch. So, I mean, I could totally understand the resentment that everybody might feel about that. But watching Vince asking her literally 24 hours later about everything, like she's not innocent for doing that interview. But there's something exploitive about it. Like Vince really wanted to make sure that as far as substance abuse or any type of drugs go, like he really wanted that to be somewhat of a focal point of that interview so people can, I don't know, like I don't want to say not blame WWF, but they to like make the situation seem like, hey, Pillman had his own demons and this is how he chose to deal with it. As far as the autopsy goes, it did say that it was like heart related, like a heart attack, right? So there's factors of a heart attack, and I think he really wanted to go into, well, he had a heart attack. What exactly would have caused that? Especially having all these surgeries with a car accident. He was in a lot of pain, but still trying to go somewhere with his career. Like, I just felt like that was so inappropriate. And sure, Melanie looked bad into this, but Melanie was not the only person related to Pillman. So this little interview thing affected his family because it just seemed like, damn, you're asking the wrong questions, you're doing it at the wrong time, and you're probably talking to the wrong person. So, Melanie wasn't really liked by the family, and rightfully so. And then hearing how Brian Jr. talking about how the mom was spending their money not on them, basically blew it out. First of all, Melanie was gorgeous. Do you see what drugs do to people? She, oh my God, like she looked horrible. And I just couldn't believe it. When they first showed her, I was like, Melanie, what? And back and forth, they're showing pictures of her and clips of her, and it's just mind-boggling. Like, sure, it's been only 20 years, but that looks like another person. Like, that's what drugs did to her. And for her to allow a lot of stupid things to happen before and even after Pillman's death, like, she's supposed to protect these kids. How dare you intervene with the situation with Brittany's mom, and then now you marry someone else and he's mistreating these children, and it's like, who cares, right? As long as you're getting your drugs, as long as you're getting this royalty money. And I saw an interview with Brian Jr. talking about she bought him a truck with that money. Like, what the fuck? Like, I wouldn't be cool with that at all. This money could have gone to these children's future. I don't know how much it was, but I'm pretty sure it was a good amount that would have helped these children move forward in life. Money doesn't bring back your loved ones, but his hard work shouldn't have gone to another man. Basically, is what I'm saying. But this episode was pretty good. I forgot his name, but the guy that was his like football coach or something, can't remember his name. He seems like a type of friend you want, because he things wasn't working as far as football goes, but he recommended something else that he saw that he could possibly do, which was pro wrestling, and ultimately that did work out for him. But he stayed with him throughout that career, and even up until some of his last moments when he was fucking high out of his mind. Whose door did he knock on? His door. Like, he seemed to have been someone who played a big role into his life. And, you didn't really hear anything about his parents or much people in his family, but his sister also played a big role into his life. And even after, helping with the children, like, she's a strong woman, and I really liked her. She came off real cool and genuine. But every time I saw Melanie, I was like, I couldn't believe anything she was saying, because, like, maybe she was high. I have no idea, or that's just how she is now from drug use. I can't say she's still taking or not. But she just was fidgety. She didn't seem genuine with what was certain things that she was saying. Basically, everything that she was saying. So, to apologize all these years later, there's like, a life is lost due to some of your actions. Like, you didn't even need to be involved whatsoever. And I don't know, man. That part really got me heated. But overall, this was a great episode. They had the right people on. I was happy to see Vince Russo on this. Given his side about things, especially with the whole WCW contract, and thinking that, hey, he's in on it with Pillman, but hearing the story back, you're like, bro, I don't think you were really in on it. It sounds good for you to say that right now, because Pillman can't say anything now, but he basically played you, and it worked out in his favor. He had a good career up until, I would say, yeah, up until the accident. Things did slow down after his, tag team with Austin. And unfortunately, sometimes people just don't know what to do with you. Sometimes they put you on a tag team because they don't know what to do with you, and then they break you up when it's like when it seems like you're getting there or probably already there, and then they make that decision. Like they said, like there was a lot of changes with management, and then when somebody new comes in, they just come with a whole set of new ideas and how things should go. So it just wasn't as long lived as they would have liked it to be. But it's cool that they were partners, and then years later they had this crazy ass feud. They probably never imagined it ever even gone that far. And like I said, I don't know why it got so much heat, but I think from a fan's perspective, people liked it. It was fucking risky and it was entertaining and most of all believable. Like nothing that could happen nowadays people are going to actually believe. Back then it was literally believable when something like this happened, and that's what you want to feel. Like that's a good feeling to actually feel like, damn, did that really happen? Maybe I should look this up or look wait for the news and see if he got arrested or not. And obviously it wasn't real. And I like when they keep you, questioning things. And Pillman was like a big part of how wrestling's perceived by fans. And man, just to think like where would his career have gone had he lived longer? Man, the skies could have been a limit. And wow, it was a great episode. It was a great way to start this episode. I'm not sure what's next, but I'm looking forward for the whole season, and I would love to review every episode. I don't have too much to say about it, but like it's the bad things that I really feel compelled to talk about because you know there was a lot of drama outside of the ring. And like I said, I love how the show isn't biased. And and it will say, this is like a true documentary where Pillman did some stupid shit. And although you like him, this is what he did. So you get to see him as a person. So I really, really respect that about the show. Nice seeing JR on it too. And Chris Jericho back for this season narrating. I do miss Dutch's voice though. Like I think he did a really good job season 1. Really surprised he wasn't on season 2, but he was pretty good at narrating and I loved his voice. Nice calm voice. But Chris Jericho's doing a great job as well. So hey, keep it going. So that was pretty much my opinion about the episode. Too bad I couldn't talk too much about his career. I just felt like, damn, like when you really think about it, especially watching a lot of other past episodes, Vince McMahon and the company itself really exploited a lot of moments. And I actually went back and watched the interview with Melanie full length. And I was just like, well, she a bitch for coming on this for whatever amount of money they offered her. But the company should have never got this personal live TV in front of millions of people. It's not just the fans, it's other people tuning in to see what the hell happened to Pillman. Why was a wrestler found dead 24 hours before? It's so fresh, so many people tune in just to hear what happened and it went down like that. Not cool, Vince. Not cool. Like he's like this genius, but he was a complete asshole too. Well, anyway, that was my review of the Brian Pillman episode of Dark Side of the Ring, and I will see you guys next week.